Alright, Virtual Crusader here, going to be going over a game review I made for Doom Eternal. So, Doom Eternal review for PC. I don't know why it does the double title. I had some issues with the blogs disappearing on my site, and then when I fixed it, it does this now. So, if it looks weird, I couldn't get that to work right. So, anyway, so here, this was my first review for my website as well. So yeah, Doom Eternal, it's a first-person shooter developed by id Software and published by Bethesda Softworks LLC. It's Limited Liability Corporation, I think, and ZeniMax Media Company. It was released in 2020. It was a direct sequel to Doom 2016, which was a pretty fun game in and of itself. I like that one too. But I think Doom Eternal, in my opinion, perfected it, the gameplay-wise. It does get pretty brutal and gory, you know, because you are fighting hordes of demons, and it's very visceral and visual with that, which is one of the reasons I like it. It's realistically gory for what it is. Some might consider it a horror type game, but if you play Doom at all, you know that in all actuality, you are the horror for the demons, which is true. I mean, you're pretty much there, Baba Yaga, if you're a John Wick fan. And it does have a lot of lore. Doom didn't really have lore originally, to my knowledge, not much anyway. Doom 2016 kind of had some, and Doom Eternal, I like the lore background in games, so if you like the lore of stuff, Doom Eternal has a lot of that for you. There's a lot of things you can pick up to read about the background, like the seraphim, the demons, the worlds a bit. So they definitely added a lot of that in Doom Eternal, which I really like personally. On to the next part, the Demon Hunter. In this game, you're a Marine that has gone through a plethora of battles fighting demonic hordes as well as facing various trials, waging an eternal war against their kind with the utmost ferocity that even they pale at, as they are ripped and torn to pieces. Doom Eternal starts a bit after the ending of Doom 2016, and there is a bit of a gap that overall isn't really explained much, other than Earth has been invaded by Hell and is on its way to a deep marination of blood and fire. You start in a citadel fortress of sorts in orbit around Earth. That is one thing I didn't like the way the Doom 2016 ended. It kind of ended where you escaped hell after fighting. I forget what it was. It was one of the big demon bosses though, and you got the crucible because you needed the energy from it. And at the end, Samuel Hayden, spoiler alert, traps you in like some kind of stasis thing, and it kind of ends there. And he's like, "Oh, we'll get you back when we need you again." And then at the start of this one, you literally just start at the Citadel. Now on to the demons. So there's a bunch of demons here. Basically, kind of give a general explanation of them here. I mean, there's a lot of the old school ones. You got, well, you like the imps, the kind of zombie soldiers, the normal kind of zombies, and the ones that have guns, and some with shields that you gotta use like the energy gun to overload and stuff. There's even a nemesis. Now, again, spoiler for the Doomslayer. It's basically like what the Doomslayer would have been if he turned evil or to the demon side. So his nemesis. They're pretty tough to fight, and you can't really damage them unless you get them with the right opening. Basically, there's a point where their eyes will flash green, and you stun them with like the super shotgun, and then you quickly switch to another weapon to bring them down, which the game explains it to you the first time you face them. So the quickest way I've found, because it's what the game explains, I'm sure there's other ways to do it too, but hit them with the super shotgun when their eyes flash, and then hit them with the rocket. You have enough time to do that in about a second, they'll be stunned. And then when their eyes flash, you have about half a second to get them. It's like, it's really, you got to be waiting for it. But if you could do that, you could bring them down pretty quick. They're a tough enemy, but definitely doable if you figure it out. Same thing with all of them. They all have their strengths, weaknesses. Like the flying cacodemons, you could shoot a grenade in their mouth and then they eat it and explode. And there's the knights, and I mean a lot of them you just hit them, waylay them with the shotgun or rockets. But again, some are stronger, weaker. Some have weak points, some don't. You'll figure it out. It's not too bad. All kinds of cool ways and fun ways to bring them down. So, and you'll get a codex thing for each of them as well, where you'll see that and you can figure out their weaknesses from those. But there's a lot of fun enemies to fight. There's one that's like a snake thing on the ground. It moves around really fast. There's the cacodemons, the marauders, which are tough, and you got the imps that teleport around, attack you. So gameplay, well, basically a general thing in this. Gameplay is a big step up from Doom 2016. It is a very well done combination of gunplay and movement that is relatively simple to get the hang of. Developers themselves have said that it's essentially like playing 3D chess, but with bodies and bullets. So there's a lot of strategy too. You get ammo with the chainsaw, you got the rockets and stuff like that. You could tear through enemies really fast, rip and tear through them really fast if you're on your toes and you just pay attention to strengths and weaknesses. Movement's a bit of an iteration of the gameplay. I mean, it goes into more depth of the different part of the gameplay. It's very quick and satisfying. You can dash around 2 charges at a time, and they auto-charge quickly. And you're able to mantle onto ledges as well, swing on monkey bars, which can be pretty fun too. Sometimes you get to certain areas with that, because you can, when you swing, you can then do your second jump, and then you could also dash. You could dash and then jump, so you can kind of maneuver a bit in the air. But yeah, you can't jump very high, and so you got to be careful. You can't jump over a lot of the enemies. You got to kind of move around and stuff. So you can't just expect to jump over everything when you get pinned in a corner. You will get punished for that. And then there's certain walls that are ridged. Usually they're pretty obvious, and you can climb up them and jump off of them and then dash away. But you can't. Your charge dashes won't charge in air, but they will if you're like hanging on to something. It gives you time to do that. So you got to be aware of that if you're trying to move quickly through like a movement puzzle of a bit. And then like here, you got to combo your moves to get around fast, outmaneuver a lot of your foes, which can be pretty nimble moving around, especially like the pinky. That thing can be a pain. And then there's the movement-based puzzles. Oh, and you do get a meat hook grapple on your super shock, and that's a lot of fun. You can basically turn your enemies into grapple points to swing off of and maneuver even more quickly, as well as cover gaps and stuff, as long as there's an enemy. In the DLC, they actually add grapple points that aren't enemies that you can swing on and use. Then the dash will not recharge in air, but when your boots are on the ground or you're hanging on a wall, you get it refreshed. Yeah, there isn't sprint, but you move around pretty fast, and there's some runes that will boost your movement on glory kill and stuff like that. So the Slayer's toolbox is something for every enemy and occasion. The weapons and gear themselves are fun to use, and each have situations where they are especially helpful. Part of the fun is figuring out what works where with the weapons useful against certain enemies in particular. There are 9 weapons total that can be used at any time once found, and many of them share ammo with another. There's the combat and super shotgun, plasma and ballista, or these I paired them with what the ammo type to use. So heavy cannon and chain gun. The heavy cannon's like the machine gun, like normal kind of. The BFG and the Unmaker. The Unmaker I didn't think was that great. It's cool. It basically turns the BFG into kind of like a normal gun, but fires fast. It does do decent damage, but I still think the BFG is a lot better, just because it's a huge AOE that eviscerates pretty much everything. And then the rocket launcher has its own ammo pool. So the weapon mods and Doom Delivery Assisters. On each weapon has 2 mods that can be unlocked. You gotta find drones around the map. They're kind of hovering there, and they're usually marked on the map if you're close enough. And each weapon has 2 mod types. So you kind of be a bit picky when you choose them early on, but know that over time you will be able to unlock all of them eventually. Once you clear all the slots for the mod, you can then do a mastery challenge for it. And once completed, it gives an extra cool effect for that mod. Later in the game, you can even use rare mastery tokens that instantly unlocks the mastery for a mod if you have all the slots acquired. Once you get the mod for the gun, you can then complete a challenge with that mod to unlock the mastery of that mod. But the mastery tokens, you still have to get the drones to unlock the mod. But then separately, once you find mastery tokens, which is maybe about halfway through the game, excuse me, it then basically allows you to skip the requirement to unlock the mastery of the mod. If that makes sense. Once you buy the first mod, you always have it. There's just a button you hit to quickly switch between. Well, the gear is fun and useful too. With the chainsaw that when used gets you ammo from enemies, and you could have up to 3 charges by finding fuel on the map. It always recharges the first fuel tick. And certain enemies, low-level enemies, you can kill with 1 fuel tick to get ammo, but bigger enemies like the Pinky or the Knight, and I don't know if you can do it to the Barons, I don't recall, but like the Knight, if you have 3 fuel charges, you can kill them using all 3 fuel charges. And then you get a grenade launcher, you can fire frag grenades or an ice bomb. The ice bomb's handy because it, pins them in place, can make them easier to take down. And then there's the flame belch, which I mean, fire weapons are cool. I always like them. So basically sets them on fire. It does slow damage over time, and when you kill them, they drop armor shards. And while they're on fire, they drop one every so often, but if you kill them, they'll drop a bunch. So it's a good combo to set an enemy on fire because you can kind of, it's about a second of a burst, so you can kind of sweep enemies. And then if you set them on fire and then use the chainsaw, you can get armor and ammo, which is nice. And a blood punch is basically a super punch when charged. And yeah, you do find one, and it like I said, it's a super punch, but it's great for basically you can one kill lower enemies, and then tougher enemies you can do a lot of damage, and if they're weak enough, they'll die. And you eventually get it where you can have up to 2 charges. And there are also glory kills that, while technically not gear, allows you to get execution on enemies that are low enough on health or staggered, which is one of my favorite things about it. I always like kind of assassination things in games. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. When they're weak, they'll flash. I forget they'll flash orange, and then when you're close enough to do the glory kill, they'll flash blue. Or is that the opposite way? I think I messed that up. I have written will flash blue or orange when close enough to do the glory kill. So let's go with what I wrote in the first place. But again, a lot of fun. And there's runes you can get that boost your range, how quick you do it. So you can literally just through things a bunch. And then you get extra health from glory kills as well. It's not just fun to do, but it's useful to get health. Like I said, personally one of my favorite things about the game, think Talion from Shadow of War on steroids. Alright, upgrades are basically various items can improve your death dealing capabilities. There's three basic ones. I have two here, but there are runes you can find that give you extra capability. You can only have three equipped at a time, but can be something like faster glory cures, better in-air maneuverability, or faster equipment recharge if an enemy is killed with or affected by equipment, like Flame Belch or something. So I believe there's 9 total. And then there's Praetor tokens. You can also collect tokens from Spectral Sentinels. Think Doomslayer's old medieval war buddies. They're kind of like ghosts holding coins. Stand around when you find them, they give you the coin, which is the Praetor token. They let you buy suit perks that either boost the Slayer or help better reveal stuff on the map. A lot of them are kind of, there's like 4 sections. One is like the normal frag grenade, one's for the freeze grenade, one's kind of for like map related stuff, and then another one's kind of general movement. And there's also Sentinel crystals that will increase your health, armor, or ammo capacity. And when you get 2, basically there's like slots. I believe there's 9 of those, and you can unlock one on each side. When you unlock both sides, it gives you an extra thing from the middle. Like when 2 of a slot are unlocked, you get to pick which ones. You don't have to do them in order, and you'll get a bonus perk from those. Like if your health is full and you get health things or ammo, or not ammo, but when your health is full and you pick up health, it'll help to recharge your blood punch. So stuff like that, it can have a utility, especially if you want to build a strategy around that. And many of these runes, tokens, and crystals are hidden on the map to find, which if you're relatively nearby, it will show up on the map. And there, if you find the map station on the level, it'll reveal them on the map as well as the map. Yeah, and there are some hidden on your Fortress of Doom, so check those out. Or check around, not a ton, but you'll find batteries throughout the game, and you need 2 to unlock a closet, and there'll be like either a token, a drone, or a Sentinel crystal, or even some skins in certain areas too, so look out for those. And then there's also a multiplayer mode I've listed here. Campaign is a fun experience that lasts a good long while with an enjoyable yet challenging online versus battle mode. It actually is pretty fun. It's 2 player controlled demons. Alright, and then the TLDR for what it is. This game has many fluid movement mechanics, a good variety of enemies, weapons, gear, perks, and upgrades with an awesome soundtrack to boot. Yeah, that is one of the best things. And it's one amazing experience to play, especially in this day and age. Again, it's gameplay wise, it's absolutely one of my favorite games, period. Like I like stuff with lore too. Again, there's other games that I'm more invested because of the lore and stories, but gameplay wise alone, it is my absolute favorite game. And here's some I personally cared for. One thing I highly respect and appreciate that there's no profanity. I just personally enjoy games better without that, and it is pretty cool they can make such an awesome game without feeling like they had to include any vulgarity or sexually suggestive material. Now, I know a lot of people don't care for that or even prefer that, but personally, as a Christian, it's like, and I mean, my faith is part of who I am. It's not just as a Christian. Personally, I don't care for that stuff, but so I'm glad for as gory and brutal as this game is, they did a great job just making it language wise and whatnot, nothing like inappropriately suggest. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of blood and gore, but doesn't mean it's got to be vulgar, right? But that's a personal like. So if that's something you care about, know that there's no vulgarity in it. So I think it's awesome that they had something that most developers would have definitely thrown that stuff in just because it's considered within the same vein, but they did a great job of that. So something I personally liked. I even put a note in here. Uh, Plus to me, it's like personally, when I hear vulgarity, it's kind of like, eh. Again, it's not because I'm a Christian, but it's just like I don't care for it. Like some people don't like people using certain phrases or stuff like that. I just don't care for that stuff. And even here, I address it. If you're thinking, how am I not cool with the profane yet am okay with the brutality? I'll just say this: combat is gruesome by its nature and is its reality, but profanity just isn't something I care for, and I choose not to say. Though I will admit it can be difficult at times. I'm by no means perfect, and I admit I've struggled with it too. Don't Don't be surprised I let a lot fly in my head. I just don't let it go to my mouth, which isn't always easy. Now for the summary. It's basically Everything I've already said. Overall, I believe this game is a very well crafted masterpiece that far outshines many games with its well filigreed edges, etched pillars, and carved platforms. Too much? I said that in the article. It's one of my personal favorites, and I very, very much enjoy playing it, which I do. It also has one of the best soundtracks that goes great with the gameplay. Again, I put heavy metal warning. A lot of fun, but if heavy metal's not your thing, I mean, you could always shut the music off, but symphony of ripping and tearing orchestrated by you, the Doomslayer, the conductor of every battle you partake, writing the eternal song of destruction for the forces of hell and those that oppose you, the melody of doom. So yeah, get a little bit artistic at the end there, so I apologize for that. So yeah, that's my review of Doom Eternal. Again, I apologize if I talk too fast. Yeah, let me know in the comments if you like me doing these videos for my own reviews, if you want me to do reviews for other articles that I've come across. Or if you want to keep doing these, if you prefer me reading them, if I talk too fast, if you like the detail, if you want more detail. I appreciate any and all feedback too. And it helps with the YouTube algorithm. I'm sure you hear that all the time. But yeah, go ahead and comment. Let me know what you like. Constructive criticism, not just in terms of my article, but the game itself. What do you like about Doom Eternal? What do you find awesome about it? What's your favorite things? And heck, what do you think they could improve on? So yeah, let me know. I mean, I really do want to know. Let me know. So. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hearing me out. Like I said, I got my YouTube channel. You're watching it on here, and I stream on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook every day at 2 p.m. EST, except Wednesdays and Sundays. So check that out as well. And I do have the videos for my playthrough of Doom Eternal on YouTube as well. So check those out. I love playing it. I think it's a lot of fun. So yeah, there's the article. Thanks for watching. So GG, God bless, and see you later.